just 20 meters away. My Uncle Dale told me this story himself. He rarely brings it up, and when he does, he smokes, and when he's done, he grinds the cigarette out hard on whatever's nearby. Just 20 meters away, he always says, 20 meters. That year I was a sophomore in college, early summer, almost harvest time. Uncle Dale had gone out to the hillside that morning to pull weeds on a plot of land behind the old farmhouse, just over a small ridge, nothing far. The sun hadn't cleared the tree line yet. The soil was heavy with dew. Every stroke of the hoe left a dark, wet mark in the earth. He'd been working a while when he straightened up to catch his breath and glanced down the slope. That's when he saw Aunt Carol. She was heading back to her mother's place that day. Her folks lived on the other side of the ridge, up and over, then maybe a mile and a half down a dirt road. She'd walked that path for 30-some years, could have done it blindfolded. When Uncle Dale spotted her, she was climbing up from the bottom of the slope, wearing a blue floral blouse, a canvas tote bag in her hand, with some things she was bringing her mother. He called out, "Hey, heading to your mom's?" She didn't look up, didn't answer. He figured she hadn't heard him. She'd always been a little hard of hearing, so he called again. "Carol," I said, "you heading to your mom's?" Still nothing. Still no look up. She just kept her head down, climbing the slope one steady step at a time. He didn't think much of it. Too far away, probably. He went back to weeding. A few strokes later, he looked up again and froze. She had reached the top of the ridge maze, but she hadn't gone down the other side toward her mother's house. She'd turned the wrong way. She was heading down the opposite slope, toward a stretch of overgrown wasteland at the bottom. And out in the middle of that wasteland sat an old mine pit. The pit had been left behind from mining operations back in the 40s. Nobody knew how deep it went. The water inside was green so dark it was almost black. As far back as anyone in the county could remember, people had drowned in it. Not once or twice. It happened year after year. Bodies were rarely recovered. The water was too deep and the bottom too murky. Uncle Dale dropped his hoe and ran. "Hey, where are you going?" "Wrong way, Carol." She couldn't hear him. Head still down, she descended the slope, one step at a time, steady and unhurried, as if something ahead of her was pulling her forward on a line. He ran until he was gasping. By the time he reached her, they were only 30 or 40 meters from the pit's edge. He grabbed her arm and pulled. She didn't stop. She kept walking, dragging him right along with her. "What are you doing?" he shouted. "There's a drop-off up ahead, a pit. Carol." She didn't look at him, didn't speak. Her eyes were locked straight ahead, and that look stopped his heart. Pupils not moving, face completely blank, like she was asleep on her feet. But her eyes were wide open. He yanked harder. She shook him off and kept going. He yanked again. She shook him off again. The strength in her was something he couldn't explain. Wrong, unnatural. Uncle Dale was a big man, had worked a farm his entire life. He could not pull her back. It was as if something far stronger than him had hold of her from the front and wasn't letting go. 30 meters, 25. He grabbed her by the shoulders and shook her. Nothing. He stepped in front of her and blocked her path. She walked around him. He grabbed her face in both hands and said her name, loud, right into her eyes, not even a flicker. He slapped her, hard, twice. Crack, crack. Her cheek went red. She didn't stop, didn't even flinch. 20 meters. That's it, he thought. She can't take another step. He steeled himself, stepped back, planted his feet, and drove his boot hard into her side. The kick knocked her clean off her feet. She hit the ground and lay there for a few seconds, completely still. Then she burst into tears. "Dale, what is wrong with you? Why did you do that?" He crouched down beside her, still gulping air, and pointed straight ahead. "Look, Carol, look at where you were walking." She lifted her head and looked. 20 meters away, the pit. The water was green, dark green, almost black. Dead still. Not a ripple. The morning sun hit the surface and bounced back, but the light looked wrong somehow. Flat, cold, like it wasn't really reflecting anything. She stopped crying. She stared at that pit for a long time without saying a word. The color left her face, slowly, steadily, until she was white as a sheet. Just now, she finally said, her voice barely holding together. I thought I heard someone calling me. Who? I don't know, just a voice, calling my name, telling me to come on over, and I just wanted to go see. A long pause. After that, I don't remember anything. I don't remember walking at all. Uncle Dale didn't say a word. He stood up, pulled her to her feet and said, "Come on, we're going home." No visit to her mother, no more weeding. The canvas tote had fallen somewhere back on the slope. He went and picked it up. They walked home in silence, side by side, heads down, not a single word the whole way. At the front porch, Uncle Dale stopped and turned to look back at the ridge. Nothing there. The sun was fully up now, flooding the fields with light, the kind of bright summer morning that should have felt good. But he couldn't shake the feeling that from somewhere in the direction of that pit, something was watching them walk away. After that day, Aunt Carol never walked that path again. Getting to her mother's meant taking the long road around, an extra 1.5 miles, maybe 2 miles. She never complained. She always took the long way. Uncle Dale doesn't bring it up often, but when it comes to mind, he goes quiet for a while, and it always ends the same way. He lights a cigarette, smokes it down to nothing, grinds it out hard and says, "Just 20 meters, that water was 20 meters away from her." Years later, I heard from some of the older folks in the county that the pit had a long, ugly reputation. People had drowned in it over the decades. Some were kids who'd gone in swimming on a hot day. Some had slipped on the bank and gone under. Some had fallen in by accident. And some, they said, had walked in on their own, dressed in their everyday clothes, one step at a time, calm and steady, like someone had called their name.